shortly. Thanks, Bordeaux. It is not only race 8, it is the main event of tonight's Pink Diamond program. It's the Champion Sprinter event. You think the last few races have been red hot. This is something else. Two of the best sprinters in the country, Dramatical and also Dewana Star, go head-to-head on this Ben Star, which is going to be an element to how this race plays out. Corey Smith, you firstly. Who do you think's going to win it?
Been plenty of good entrees here tonight, but this is the main meal. This is the excitement factor in Dewana Star. It's his race to lose, in my opinion. He's my best bet of the night. He just needs to get everything right in a race like this, as you do when there's dogs like Dramatical in it. I think Dewana Star is going to show his best. He's going to get out of the boxes, get himself across to the rail, and get himself out on that arm. The likes of Dramatical are likely to lob in behind him, and then they've got to chase him down. I'm not sure if they can. My numbers, 7, 3, 1 and 2. I do think that inside brigade is going to get a nice run into the race, but it's all Dewana Star for me. He just needs to carve across.
And Brett Honey, we've got the superstar status of Dramatical, Dewana Star, and the emerging stars in like Crackerjack Roll from box 2. What's your take on this Champion Sprinter final?
This is top draw. I'm very similar to Corey. I've gone 7, 3, 2, 1. I've got Dewana Star on top. 2 stars to go. What he did in the Harrison Dawson, dogs don't do that. Leading that easy in a Group 1 from box 8. This is going to be a similar setup here where I think from box 7 he can just carve across, break their hearts mid-race, and I think he can run away with the Champion Sprinter. Dramatical, the obvious danger. I just don't trust his box manners, and there are dogs in boxes 1 and 2 here who can begin well. I just thought that he might get buried back. I've got Crackerjack Ralph in for 2nd, Conceivable in there for 4th. I thought those two outside of the key 2 were the only other winning hopes. 7, 3, 2, 1 for me was a great addition to the Champion Sprinter.
Some of not only Victoria's finest sprinters here, but Australia's finest sprinters in Dramatical and Dewana Star. This is going to be an absolute beauty on one of Victoria's biggest stage. This is the Pink Diamond Champion Sprinter final. Here's Dan Hibbard.
Get set. The Pink Diamond Champion Sprinter, and they're moving in well. Final for $50,000. The first edition of this race was won by Shimmer Shine, who beat Aston Rupee in a classic. What are we going to get here? The Pink Diamond Champion Sprinter. And they're away. There was speed from Conceivable, is going to push through and lead Crackerjack Ralph. Dewana Star got to 4th around the outside of Dramatical. Then came Flash of Genius. Well back Dr. Warren, Mapunga Express. Last of all, Ultimate Warrior. Crackerjack Ralph charged to the lead. Dramatical through to 2nd. Conceivable back to 3rd. Dewana Star's got a lot of ground to make up. Then Flash of Genius. Crackerjack Ralph in front. Dramatical can't get him. Ralph's the champ. Crackerjack Ralph won at 2.5. Clear on Dramatical. They were a mile in front of Conceivable, who ran 3rd, and Dewana Star 4th. Flash of Genius, Ultimate Warrior, Mapunga Express and Dr. Warren, and the time is super quick, 27.563. It's just a hair's breadth outside the track record.
A magnificent performance from Crackerjack Ralph, and you sensed the alarm bells when Dramatical landed on his hammer. But he hasn't been able to make much of a dent, and I can imagine for Jordan Cooper, this is one hell of a moment in his training career. Ethan Christian, you're with the big fella.
Certainly am, and look, Dramatical landed on the back early and might have been some nerves going through, but when you're running times like 27.56, there's not much other dogs can do, Jordan.
No, it was when he was on the back of him, I thought, oh, I'm gone, but he kicked it out, so yeah, real good.
So you weren't kidding when you said the fastest dog you've bred, and he's really come out and proved it tonight. It must be really satisfying feeling, mate.
It is, because when you tell people you think you got a good dog, and they sort of don't show it on the big stage, it's pretty frustrating. But tonight's the night, so it's good.
Tonight's the night. He is only young. He's only still had a certain amount of starts. Are we thinking he can springboard from here? Is this adding confidence that maybe he is going to turn into the dog that I really believed he could be?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully, pulls up well and we'll push on to Horsham next week. So he's gone well there before, so that's where we'll head.
You brought him to Sandown Park for the Harrison Dawson. Obviously, we've got the Horsham Cup coming up. Do we think we're going to return back to the City Lights after that campaign's done?
Yeah, I think so. At the end of the day, we've got to chase the bigger races if they're there, and that's where the good dogs go. So hopefully that's where he'll end up.
That's where they certainly go, and I think he's starting to show that he might just be a part of that calibre in it up to his ears. So well done, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you. Cheers.
Crackerjack Ralph, a huge winner in that one there. Really impressive display. Got on the back early and held off a really good charge from Dramatical. Well done, Jordan Cooper.
To say the least, outstanding performance. And here's the reaction of Jordan Cooper when Crackerjack Ralph crossed the line. A massive moment for him. I'm sure he's thrilled to bits. Not only one of the great fishermen of Australian greyhound racing, but now a winner of the Pink Diamond Champion Sprinter final. And boys, that was a top performance. And as soon as Dramatical landed on his back, I thought, get the popcorn out. This is going to be one hell of a finish. But in the end, and credit to Crackerjack Ralph, take nothing away from him, he was able to hold off Dramatical in a very emphatic way.
It didn't make sense until you saw the time, 27.56 around there. That was a tremendous performance. And didn't get straight on the arm, had to get around Conceivable, and then when Dramatical got there, you thought it might have been game, set and match, but that was a tough performance. Well done to Jordan Cooper. We were just talking before this race about, this dog making this step up to this kind of grade on an open class night. He's done that tonight. That was a superb performance.
It was, and it's a turning point, isn't it, Smithy? I mean, so often we speak about these dogs that, as Jordan said, show promise, and then you can talk the talk, and at some point it's time to walk the walk, and that's what he's done tonight.
Well, we spoke earlier about how we love the fact that Josh Formosa's not shy in coming forward in terms of talking about his dogs, and Jordan Cooper was the same way about this boy. He said that this dog's got every bit the amount of ability as Dewana Star, which is a big statement to make about a dog that's won 35,000 compared to Dewana Star's 220-odd thousand. He's shown tonight that he is very capable against this sort of calibre of fields. And yes, the box draw helped him with Dramatical kind of not missing the start, actually jumped pretty well, but getting out in front of Dramatical, sitting up on the outside of Conceivable and really taking over in the middle sectors of that race. But he is an absolute weapon when he gets some clear air, Crackerjack Ralph, and he showed tonight that while he's a little bit enigmatic, he's got all the ability in the world, and when he gets to show it, it is box office.
And Dewana Star ended up running fourth, but it just seemed from the outset he didn't begin as well as what he had to.
Yeah, it didn't begin as well, and then Dramatical punched up on the inside of him, and when Dramatical punches up on the inside, it is difficult to try and get across from that situation. And then I think I saw him get dragged down at one point as well, so he didn't have it his own way, but it's a sign of a good dog to still be able to pick himself up after multiple sort of errors or faltering sort of situations and still run home in a decent sort of clip. So I wouldn't be putting a line through Dewana Star's chances moving forward. He'll win plenty of big races, as will Dramatical, and hopefully that's what Crackerjack Ralph does as well, a bit of a springboard from here with plenty of confidence to take out of this one.
And possibly, Brett, all four of them being Crackerjack Ralph, Dramatical, Conceivable, Dewana Star, heading to Horsham Cup heats next Friday.
Yeah, that's not to be missed if they all go to that Horsham Cup. Probably not a track you immediately think of when you think of these kind of greyhounds, but again, these country cups, they add a difference to the calendar here in Victoria, whilst there aren't these feature races at the Meadows and Sandown Park. So looking forward to them going there. Interesting to see how the different track dynamic of Horsham plays a part in a result should these meet in the final once again.
And Smithy, Horsham and Horsham Cup Series not synonymous for a high quantity of nominations. So if we do get a handful of these head there, we know there's a few up in Queensland who won't be heading to the Horsham Cup, but ideally a few of these do, and we see one hell of a card next week.
I'd be interested to hear from the trainers themselves about...
Well, we could see none of them. They could all go to Queensland.
Exactly right. They're tossing up whether to going to nice sunny Queensland at this time of the year and get a little bit of warmth in, or going to Horsham. Now, I'd personally probably go to Queensland, but the depth, as you mentioned, is going to be a lot hotter up there in Queensland, and Horsham, the cup there is worth $50,000. There's plenty of prize money on offer, and as you mentioned, generally the depth is not there. So if you can get your way through to the final, you're running for $50,000 again, and it's probably the easier path to get that sort of coin. So I can understand why people like Jordan Cooper with Crackerjack Ralph will go that way. It's a track that he's raced well at in the past. He's won over that track and trip in fast time, including a 26.70 not that long ago as a $1.10 favourite. Don't know if he'll be a $1.10 next time he goes there, but he's going to be very hard to beat.
And I'm right in saying that Dewana Star is yet to trial up in Queensland?
As far as I'm aware, I'm not entirely sure. We can ask Matty Dewan that a little bit later on, but Benny Cousins, as he's called himself. But yeah, look, Dewana Star is still a star, and he can win any race he can test. Dramatical was a sensational run as well. I know he's run second there, and you become accustomed to Dramatical getting himself to second, you go, all right, he's just going to run all over the top of them. But when, as Ethan said in his interview, when you're running those times out in front, it's nearly impossible to get run down. So all credit to the winner, but plenty of good performances in behind.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of that requirement, the trial up in Queensland, we know Dramatical was recently up there for the one-turn feature. Does he have to trial on Q2 as well?
Yes. Yep. So you've got to race on, you've got to trial on all the 3 tracks if you want to race at all 3 of them. So I absolutely love that about the Q. It obviously makes it a little bit more difficult in terms of the planning for the trainers, but I think that's just a small hurdle to jump to give your dog the best opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see whether Dramatical goes back up there or whether it's the other kennel mates that dominate the headlines up there for Team Thompson. But he's an absolute star, and wherever he goes, it's going to be hard to beat Dramatical.
Yeah, 100%. All right, what we might do is take a quick break here leading up to the next race, which is the Pink Diamond Princess Final. We've got Dan Hibbard in his red jocks feeling $1 million tonight. Absolutely itching to have an interview with Ethan Christian after he was set for one earlier on, and Ethan thought there might be a better option amongst the crowd here at Bendigo. But otherwise, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in 5 minutes' time at 9:30 to hone in on that Princess Final, which is race 9.